Good evening and welcome to That's Football. Weird time, I suppose. It's a Saturday night. It's 8 o'clock. And looking forward to this game tonight. I think Aston Villa have got a great opportunity to really hammer home their advantage when it comes to the Premier League top four race. They're currently 6 points ahead of Spurs with a game in hand. So everything is there for Aston Villa tonight to, go nine points ahead of Spurs, who play Arsenal tomorrow. I mean, there's the league table for you. It looks absolutely... Tonight should be a cup final for Villa. They haven't played in Europe on Thursday either, which they're going to be doing next week. So I think tonight, if you're a Villa player or manager, tonight is the night where you go out and get that 9 points. Because I tell you what, Spurs with 3 games in hand will not close that 9-point gap. They won't be able to do it. So it's a huge opportunity for them tonight. Let's have a look at the team news coming in for you. So we've got Aston Villa lining up as follows. Big win for Everton as well. I mean, they're always going to be safe, but how many points have Everton had taken off them anyway? They've got 36 now. Have they had about 6 taken off? I mean, they'd be firmly mid-table with their form. It's only the points deduction that sort of put them into that situation, isn't it? But yes, anyway, we're only 2 minutes away from the start of this game, so I better get a moat in a bit. Martinez, Cash, Konza, Torres, Digne, Bailey, Tillemans, Douglas, Louise, Rogers, McGinn and Watkins. Chelsea have got injury problems of themselves, but they did come here and win in the Cup back in January, and they're lining up with Petrovic, Chalobah, Silva, Badiashile, Cucurella, Casido, Gallagher, Palmer, Madueke, Mudryk and Jackson. Logically, I don't see any other result here tonight than an Aston Villa win. But logic doesn't always follow this Premier League season, and maybe Chelsea have still got an outside chance of getting into the top 6 themselves. I think Newcastle have got something to say about that, but it's not all doom and gloom for Chelsea. When you look at that league table, they've got 47 points. And they've got 2 games in hand on Manchester United and on Newcastle. And if they win those 2 games in hand, they would be level with Newcastle and a point behind Manchester United. So Chelsea could still have an outside chance of getting into the top 6, which would be big for them. We're about to start here. Let me get the timer going and then we'll go. How are you, Mark? Love your streams, mate, says Dog. And that journalist opened up with wheelie bin without any wheels. I'm dying. I think what people don't realise is that I'm always open to have a conversation with anybody. And I felt that in the absence of being able to get any, sort of debate going with Rashford's people, Henry Winter's a massive fan of Rashford. And he was kind enough to come on the show and he gave his opinion. And the logical thing was to not do that interview because he was obviously going to say some things about our content that wasn't going to be that positive. But we're not a dictatorship. We don't run agendas. And I want to generate conversation. It's about all opinion. And obviously that's on our channel where he's saying that the wheelie bin comment could be perceived as abuse. I didn't mean it as abuse. And that's my content. So, but I'm also eyes open and ears open to other opinions. And I think that's the way it should be. A lot of people just want to scream. I mean, look. There's people in the United fan base who shout bold fraud. I think that's worse than a wheelie bin with no wheels. So let's not pretend that the United stand is causing the most abuse in the United fan base. It's bullshit. But what we will do is listen to other opinions in a pragmatic way and have a conversation about it. And that's what that was all about. And I really enjoyed it. So check it out on the United stand. I like those sort of conversations. I actually like people who give a little bit back in a mature way. We're up and running here, though, as many of you do. Drunk Short says, as an Arsenal fan, I really think United fans need to get behind their manager. Also, players need to play for their fans because you deserve it. Love. Thank you very much. Did you watch Leverkusen like a cliche movie, says Bloody Bugger? No, I didn't. Who do you want to win tonight? Villa. Yeah, I don't normally care, but I do want Villa to win because I've got a lot of friends who are Villa fans. And I'd love them to get Champions League football because I think if they do, Emery's Manager of the Year for me, unless Arteta wins the title. For me, this Manager of the Year is either Arteta if he wins the title or Emery if not. I don't see I don't see why Pep Guardiola should win Manager of the Year award for fucking winning the title with Man City. I don't see it. I loved it. Just shows how big United stand is, says Parker. Yeah, and Henry was very complimentary about the United stand and the community, and he's one of the most respected journalists in football. So to have that sort of recognition and somebody who will come on the show and talk to us, and I knew it wouldn't be easy. He's a bloody good journalist. Well, that's a proper journalist who does his own work. Enjoyed the video with Abby and Turkish Mark. Yeah, very good as well. Really like that concept. Hopefully, we're just trying it out at the end of the season. But it's had like 60,000 views on a channel with 5,000 subscribers. So people obviously like that sort of content if you've not seen it. So hopefully we can do more of those next year. Thank you very much. Right. You know what? Tonight, I wouldn't be surprised if Chelsea got a result. I know that sounds stupid, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. Somebody said the only bold fraud is Jackson. He's had a new haircut. Oh, mate. Don't get me started on the officiating. I mean, I don't get what I'm trying to do here, because you know me. You know the podcast. You know what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to call out the problems with football and get fans to have a voice. And we've been doing it all season about VAR. You know, I don't like Liverpool, but they've been treated like shit by bad officiating this season on more than one occasion. Arsenal, I'm still convinced it was a foul on Gabriel at Newcastle, which would have given them another point. Could cost them the title. So I'm very firm about those things. But, you know, when it happens to United, even your own fans don't want to fucking help you out, let alone rivals. I got United fans on the match reaction saying, not a penalty for me. You know why they're saying it's not a penalty? Because they want to sack Ten Hag. Like, sacking Ten Hag is more important than actually a dodgy decision. And there's been one or two, but not the masses. I really would have thought that people would look at that and go, yeah, United have been absolutely robbed there. But people, this is why the PGMOL win, because people let club rivalry get into it. And I've always said, don't do that. If Chelsea get a dodgy decision tonight, I'll say it. I'll say it. If Man City get one tomorrow, I'll say it. It's not... it's dodgy what's going on with the refereeing at the moment, in the sense that I don't understand how you get that handball last week against Wan-Bissaka, and then in the Forest-Everton game, the same thing happens and they don't give a handball. And all week, people are moaning about, quite rightly, the sinister side of the officiating of VAR. And then you get another handball, goal, Villa, 1-0. I don't know why McGinn's celebrating, unless it came off Watkins. 1-0 Villa already. Well, I've probably jinxed Chelsea, because I said I fancied them to get something. But I might be wrong. I think it's an own goal for Cucurella. Now, Chelsea fans, you know the score. I know the score. It's 1-0. But you know what's going to happen. Your heads are going to drop like the Titanic. This is going to go badly for you, because you're 1-0 down already. I think it came off Cucurella. Watkins might be able to get a claim on this. But cross comes in from Digne. Good cross. McGinn shoots. There's no offside in this. I'm just trying to see... I think it might be Watkins' goal. McGinn's celebrating, but it might be Watkins' goal. No. Cucurella. Cucurella own goal. Yeah, it doesn't touch Watkins at all. I'm only doing that for the FPLers. Mark, if Villa lose this game, do you think Tottenham can get back 4th place, says William? Well, I think you can. What do you make of Salah versus Klopp arguments, says Josh? I'm not aware of it. I don't know. Yeah, 1-0 to Villa anyway. I don't know why they'd even check that. I don't know what's going on with that. But what I was saying before is that that's a handball for Man United today. And anybody who's saying it not, I hope your club gets fucked. I do. Because if you're not going to speak up for football fans and you're going to focus on rivalry when we've had so many bad decisions this year, If you're just going to go, well, I hate United, so I'm just going to say it's not a penalty, then you deserve VAR. You deserve the PGMOL. The reason I and many others this season have stuck up for Liverpool or Arsenal or Wolves or anybody else is because it's our game that's being, destroyed here. And it might be United this week, but it'll be you next week. Liverpool had a handball against Arsenal that wasn't given on Odegaard. So you know what? If you say it's not a handball, you're playing into the hands of Howard Webb and the terrible officiating in this country who live off you lot living on rivalry. Because that was a handball today. In fact, we had another penalty as well. We should have had 2 penalties today, but it was 100% a handball. And anybody who's saying it's not a handball, well, you're an enemy of football as well, because you're falling into the trap of the PGMOL and the Premier League, who live off fans not uniting behind what is so bloody obviously an absolute shambles at the moment. Philip Sutton, thanks for your membership. Appreciate that. Bailey has just sent Cucurella back to Brighton. And again, absolutely skinned him, but Conor Gallagher gets back. Saw your Henry Winter video. Basically, Rashford and millionaire footballers are human and you can't criticise them for bad performances. PR's mad, says Gunner Station. Mate, it's the other side of the coin. You watch it and you take your opinion and I'll respect that. Ooh, side netting from Digne. They're all over them at the moment. The Salah versus Klopp argument. Liverpool forward Mo Salah said if he speaks, there will be fire after he argued with Jurgen Klopp on the touchline during the 2-2 Premier League draw. Salah seemed to clash with Klopp as he prepared to come on as a 79th minute substitute. Klopp said he would not discuss what the argument was, but former Liverpool striker Peter Crouch said it doesn't look good for the club. I think Salah was very unhappy to be on the bench. I mean, Liverpool fans, do you really care? I mean, you've had success with Salah, you've had success with Klopp. They're falling out now. Klopp's gone in 3 weeks. Salah's probably gone in 3 weeks. So who cares? You're not going to win the league. Liverpool's heads are gone. Ned Stark, it's gone. Their head's gone. So I wouldn't even care. If I was a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't give a shit. If this was 3 years ago, I'd be panicking. But as a Liverpool fan, I wouldn't give a shit. I really wouldn't. I think they're both gone in the summer. So what does it matter? The season is over for you. You're not going to finish any higher than third, and you're not going to finish any lower than third, and you can't win any other trophy. So really, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. I agree, but just ask the question: if they called out of those handballs in the past couple of weeks and only called one, is that not consistency? The insistent call would be the Aaron Wan-Bissaka one, says Ethan. Yeah, mate, that's my point. Like, we were winning that game and it wouldn't have gone to extra time. They gave a penalty. We had to go to extra time and penalties for a dodgy penalty that's not a penalty. So that's exactly my point. But where's the communication? The question is, again, what is a handball and what isn't a handball? Are they saying that it wasn't a handball today and it wasn't a handball against Everton for Forest and it wasn't a handball for Aaron Wan-Bissaka against Coventry? We just made a mistake. Well, come out and tell us it was a mistake then. Like, that's what leadership is. If today's not a handball because they made a mistake with the Coventry semi-final, well, tell us that then. That's the point. We're like mushrooms being fed on shit in the dark. What is a handball and what isn't? Was Wan-Bissaka against Coventry a handball and you got it right and you got it wrong today? Or was today not a handball and they got it wrong in the semi-final? I mean, how hard is it for them just to communicate with the people that pay their fucking wages? What is a handball? I mean, that's all we're asking. If today's not a handball against Burnley because they made a mistake against Coventry, well, tell us. But I don't know. Rashford and Garnacho are my top Premier League players, says Umzi. Did you see the Anthony Taylor Areola decision, says Charlie? I haven't seen it yet. I know it's not relevant. Brighton has had the same amount of injuries as United. I wanted to correct that guy earlier saying we had doubles, says Gazzy. But so we were doing a watch along this afternoon and I was saying that United are playing shit because we've got no defence. I mean, we literally drew the game because of Casemiro. So you're always going to get about 15 shots against that defence with United because it's crap. So I was saying that if we had our proper defence, we'd be a better team. Hence, people started talking about Chelsea and Brighton and Newcastle having injuries and who's had the worst injuries. And I was as puzzled as probably you are, because when you look at the league table, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton are also having a bad season as well. So it's like having a dick measuring contest where no one can pull a girl or a boy. Like, what are we arguing about? We're all losing. Like, I agree Chelsea have had a bad injury crisis. Look at the league table. Look at Newcastle. Brighton aren't even in the top half anymore. All 4 teams have been decimated by injuries. I mean, who's had the worst doesn't really matter. I don't know why Chelsea fans are arguing with United fans about who's had the worst injuries when we both have. Newcastle have as well, and Brighton. It's an excuse for all of them. Personally, I think, and this might, I don't know whether I'd say this on the United stand, from what I've seen this season, the team that deserves to finish 6th is Newcastle. I think Newcastle have played the best football out of everybody outside the top 5. If anybody deserves 6th, it's Newcastle. When we played them at St James's Park, they were brilliant. Yeah, I think Newcastle deserve it. Doesn't mean they're going to get it, but Newcastle deserve 6th place from what I've seen this season. You don't always get what you deserve. Anyway, thanks for tuning in on a Saturday night with me. You're absolute legends. It's Saturday night, so if you want to chuck any questions at me, you can. I've had a lovely Indian takeaway tonight. We're only 200 subscribers away from 145,000, so please do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. And don't forget, North London derby tomorrow. I mean, Spurs need to win. Arsenal need to win. There is no if, buts, or maybe. I'm going to have a look at this Anthony Taylor thing, see if we can bring it into the show. I mean, Anthony Taylor and Areola is actually a combination that many people would put together without a West Ham connection. If you know, you know. PGMOL have actually come out and explained it. So Liverpool fans were left exasperated after seemingly being denied a goal by referee Anthony Taylor as their side were held to a 2-2 draw. With just 4 minutes of normal time remaining, goalkeeper Areola inexplicably placed the ball on the floor in his box despite no free kick having been awarded in a clash between players moments earlier. Gakpo looked set to tap the ball into an empty net as a result, only for the referee to sound his whistle and stop play. Areola subsequently received treatment. However, it is understood that the match official had actually signalled an advantage after the clash between the 2 players in the area. That advantage came to an end when Gakpo attempted to close down the ball, forcing Taylor to stop play. And as a result, Areola then needed treatment on the pitch. A drop ball was correctly used to start the game. So not quite as controversial a moment as was perhaps initially thought. I haven't seen it, so. But that's the explanation from the PGMOL, who sometimes will give you the audio 3 weeks after a major incident. I mean, how quickly did they come out with the audio of the Alexi McAllister penalty against Man City? But in this case, they can have it out for you in a few minutes. It's amazing how quickly they can get stuff out, isn't it, when they want to. Watkins down the left. McGinn into Watkins. I tell you what, Chelsea need to be careful here. Battered by Arsenal. If they got battered here, can Poch survive? Connor Jackson, do you think it was a foul on Garnacho? I think the second one in the second half is a penalty. There's a definite connection. For me, it's a penalty. But I'll tell you what, that John Brooks didn't want to give Man United a penalty today for love nor money. You could just tell he didn't want to do it. I mean, he didn't care if he was at Old Trafford or not. He was not giving us a penalty. Jackson's through 1-on-1. And he scored. It's given. It's 1-1. The high line of Aston Villa has been caught out. Wow. Well, was it offside? It looked like Villa thought it was. Nicholas Jackson scoring a goal is shocking, but let's look at this. Villa player high. I think he's going to be on. I think Matty Cash is miles on. Matty Cash. The centre-backs are playing him off. Matty Cash is playing him on. Took it well as well. Villa's high line. The problem there. Winter House says, I'm a Chelsea fan and I'm wondering what you would do in the summer if you were Chelsea in terms of players and a coach. Keep up the great work. Well, I think you're going to keep Poch. Why are they taking so long on this offside? It's clearly on. It's clearly on, that. Matty Jackson. Who's Matty Jackson? Matty Cash. He's playing him on there. I can't understand why we take... I can't wait to get the new... I can't wait to get the new technology in. Like, it's incredible how you and me can look at it and know it's miles onside, and they take so long to do it. Matty Cash is playing him onside. I'm telling you. Look at Johnny Cash when he stood there. I've just realised what I've done straight away. I'll walk the line. Oh, it's offside. Wow. Well, that's the angle. I stand corrected, said the man in the orthopaedic shoe. Offside. Sorry, Chelsea fans. He can't buy any look, Nicholas Jackson, can he? He must sometimes feel like he's the man, he's talking to the man in the mirror, because he doesn't get any look. Hi, Mark. I'm a Chelsea fan. We've done that one. Hi, Mark. What's your favourite curry? Says Jake. I had chicken tandoori today, which is done in the clay oven. It's quite dry. I actually realised I should have had tikka masala. I agree, but why do Man United never call it out, says Forever United? Man United won't call it out because we're an institution and we don't want to be putting a tweet out calling out referees. It's like, I don't know why Liverpool have done it. I don't know why we won't do it. We've been robbed today, but they won't do it. Highly expect Gary Neville to call out the handball inconsistencies, given he's a man of the people. I like how he no longer uses Twitter, so he doesn't actually have to engage with people, says Robbo. And I remember before VAR, constant discussion after every game about officiating just wasn't really a thing. In the main, talk was about the game itself. Yes. Yeah, I know. That is a great argument, actually. Football has been... And I reckon the referees in real life love it. I bet referees in real life love it. How they get spoken about so much, because you're right, you didn't used to talk about VAR or officials that much, but now listen to the podcast, we're always talking about it. It's always one of the big features. We're not talking about how good Kevin De Bruyne is. Hi Mark, Solihull Moors had a good win, amazing win for Solihull Moors. They're into the final of the playoffs. They beat Barnet 4-0 away from home. Absolutely incredible. 2 trips to Wembley, 1 week after the other. FA Trophy and then playoff final. Becky, it's great news. Brand says, don't disturb me, I'm sleeping. Some leagues are using AI to manage footballing decisions rather than VAR. Do you think this option would work in the Premier League, says Killen? Let me just get this right, because I like to be right. But... listen to this. Listen to this. Scandinavian countries FA in Sweden has bowed to fan pressure and refuses to use VAR amid fan revolt. Fierce resistance among supporters in Sweden to introduce the technology has led to them not bringing in VAR. Who's the mug? You're the mug. Football fans are very opinionated, but they do fuck all. Like, this is our game. This is our game being ruined. Liverpool, how many points should you have? Wolves, how many points should you have? Arsenal, how many points should you have? Everybody has been screwed over, and we just sit and take it. I mean, what have the PGMOL done since that Liverpool onside goal wasn't given? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. They've got Michael Owen and Howard Webb to sit there and tell you you're wrong. And Dermot Gallagher does the propaganda every Monday morning on Sky. Nothing's been done. Because football fans haven't got a fucking clue how to do something about it. Well done, Sweden. Yeah. Well done, Sweden. Exactly. That's my point. Looking forward to the book, Mark. Pre-ordered the audio book. Thanks, Tony. Appreciate that. I'll put the QR code in if you want to scan the QR code and order one while you're live tonight. Maybe you're feeling generous on a Saturday night. Empty stadiums would get their attention, says HX. Mate, I'd love to see it happen. Tranmere Nick, welcome to the Members Club. Aaron Martin says, hindsight's a wonderful thing though, isn't it, Mark? Well, hindsight's a wonderful thing, Aaron, if you were somebody that wanted VAR, but check the videos. I never wanted it, so it's not hindsight. I never wanted it. And I don't do I told you so, but I and a lot of people didn't want VAR. So I'm not saying I told you so, but I didn't want it. And I didn't want it because of this. Because I knew it would slow down the game and ruin the flow of the game and become the focal point of every conversation about the game, and that's what's happened. What defines a player as world class is off the post. It's a personal choice. Some people will say that Alaba is world class at Real Madrid. Some people will say that Cole Palmer is already world class. Someone will say that Ollie Watkins is a world class striker. Where somebody else will say there's only 5 players that are world class. It's all about where your bar is. What do I define as a world class? I don't ever like to have more than 10 players that are world class, really. I don't even like to say that there's a world class player in every position because there might not be. And I think the older you get, the easier it is to deem what world class is because, you know, I've seen Maldini play. I've seen Zidane play. You know, I've seen world class. But I also think that there must always be world class players because you can't just say, well, no one's world class at the moment. Anthony went from 24 grand a week to 200 grand a week at United. Who makes that decision? Not Ten Hag, says Bad Lefty. Why do you think the TMO in rugby works so well whilst VAR is a pile of piss? Do you think it's just because the decisions are broadcast? Communication, Ethan. Communication. Absolutely simple as that. Like I said, mushrooms are grown in the dark and fed on shit, and that's what football fans are. We're not communicated with. What we want to know are very simple things. Like, why was it a penalty for handball on Aaron Wan-Bissaka last week, but it's not a penalty for a very similar incident this week? Just tell us. And we can work with that. Sati says he doesn't mind being in the Conference League. Andrew Elliott says the reason fans don't do anything about it is because they're too busy bantering each other and laughing at each other's misfortune. And that's what the PGMOL and the Premier League and these pundits live off. They basically think you're stupid. They go, we'll just carry on doing what we're doing, making the money, because this lot will be too busy arguing with themselves. Are they wrong? Injury here to Tielemans. World class to me is a player who can walk into any iconic team from history and make a claim to start like you say Maldini could, says CJ McNally. Brennan Smith says, world class for me is that player walks into any team in the world. Brennan, interesting. Good Saturday night conversation, this. But what if you've got 3 world-class strikers? You can have that. Bobby says, question for the chat because Mark doesn't answer questions unless it's paying him. Bullshit. I read loads of chats. Automated offsides is due to the night ball. So are we going to go to Adidas balls next season, says Bobby. They're bringing the technology in, aren't they, next year? I don't know what they're doing with the balls. Scott McTominay's injury looks quite bad, actually. I feel really bad for him because regardless of what I think of him as a Man United player, Scotland are going to play in the Euros in 2 months, and I don't think he's going to be playing. I think that knee injury looks bad, and that's really sad. What do you think of Valderrama as a player, says Kenneth? I thought he was okay. I mean, if Valderrama had short hair, he'd have just been an okay player. And you know what I mean. Rennie Higuita in goal was shit. Like, he was a shit goalkeeper, but he did a scorpion kick and everyone remembers him. Like, he wasn't a good goalkeeper. Same with that Mexican guy who used to wear the t-shirt in '94. He was about 5'6". He wasn't a good goalkeeper, he was just a gimmick. Hi Mark, let's talk about your finances. How much do you earn from YouTube? Says Daniel. Yeah, okay, Daniel. Let me just get my bank account. We can have a big chat about that. Do you see Liverpool in the top 4 next season? Says JM. I think Liverpool are. If they weren't our biggest rival, I'd feel sorry for them because I think from Liverpool's point of view, if they kept Klopp, they were going to get better next year and challenge more. But with Klopp going, I just don't know. I just don't know what's going to happen. I am doing the Champions League watch-alongs on Tuesday and Wednesday, Kartik. Yes, we don't quit on the Champions League just because the English clubs did. So this week looks a lot like this. We've got the North London derby tomorrow, which is a 2 o'clock kickoff, remember, so don't be missing that. I'm not doing Forest against Man City. I just turn it off after 20 minutes when they're 4-0 up, so it'd be a waste of time. There's no Monday night football, but we will be doing Bayern Munich against Real Madrid at 8 o'clock on Tuesday and Borussia Dortmund against PSG on Wednesday night. We're also going to do Chelsea against Spurs on Thursday night, which is a Premier League game. And then there is Friday night Premier League football with Luton against Everton, which I'm not doing. But on Saturday, I am probably going to do Arsenal-Bournemouth. The games are a bit shit on Saturday next week. Man City play Wolves. Sunday, Liverpool-Spurs is probably worth doing, but it's not the game it could be, if we're being honest. And Man United play Palace a week on Monday. We're into May already. Where's the year going? Where is the year going? I don't know what they're doing with the balls. If there's a more perfect Manscaped ad segment, I don't know it, says Ethan Foley. And what, Mark, would putting representatives of both clubs in the VAR room improve the refereeing? Of course it wouldn't. They'd just argue. What's your thoughts on Keith Hackett's point on TalkSport the other day? I don't watch TalkSport or listen to it. Fozzie. Hi, Mark. Let's talk about your finances. Done that one. Look, I'm not being arrogant because I think most of you could do it as well. But if they gave me VAR for the last month of the season, I guarantee it'd be the best month of the season. Because all I would do is straight away is I'd do a press conference and I'd say all I want to do is make VAR understandable to the most important people. Not Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville, not TalkSport and TNT. All I want to do is make VAR serve the most important people in football, the fans. And I want the fans to understand what we're doing. So I'm going to communicate with the fans. I want them to watch a game and know what a handball is. And I want them to watch a game and know what a red card is. And I know there will be slippage. And when there is, we will come out and put our hands up and say, we're only human. But I want to be able to say that when the ball hits a hand in the penalty box, a fan in the ground or watching on TV knows what a handball is. When a tackle happens, I want fans to know it's a red card as well as we do. And I'm not going to put up with games being officiated differently game to game, because that's just bullshit in a league where everybody plays in it. And they've never done that. And they won't do that. And it's so simple. I genuinely think you could give a GCSE maths class of 15 VAR as a project for an hour and they'd run it better. Ewan says, have you left TalkSport? Well, I'm not doing my show tonight because I do 7:30 till 9 o'clock and they've got commentary of this game, so I can't do my show tonight. Best ref ever is Kalina. Bryn, he was very good. Sam says, I can't wait till they replace them with AI. In my opinion, it will be good to have Super League since Premier League will get a kick up the back side, says Sam. Mate, I hated the Super League, but the way they're running the Premier League at the moment, I don't want a Super League, but the way the Premier League's being run at the moment, you know, I can't say it, but you know what I mean. Odegaard or Foden, says Ozone. I really like Odegaard. If you're asking me who I'd take at United, Odegaard or Foden, I'd take Odegaard. I mean, Foden's been brilliant. Paolo says, George Campos was a good goalkeeper. PGMOL are the only after their pockets, not the integrity of the game. That's the reason they exist. You know what somebody said to me today, and it can't be true, but the way they're running it, you'd actually think, Somebody said to me, do you think the PGMOL are running the Premier League like the WWE, in the sense that they've got stories to make it more entertaining? And I instantly wanted to say, what a stupid comment. And then I thought, well, the way they've run the Premier League this season, it is a little bit like a WWE Raw is War story. Because it's like the injustice that some teams have suffered and others haven't, and the ongoing sort of frustration they cause to fans is right out of a wrestling script. Have you seen that winning the FA Cup would give Man United automatic qualification to the Europa? That's been the case for about 10 years, Blaze. What flavour you got in your air up? No, it's ran out. Chelsea are playing quite well, you know, now. I thought Villa were going to run away with it, but Chelsea are actually playing well. Oh, he's hit the post. Don't guess and don't laugh. It's not funny. Chelsea fans are suffering. Basically, level with the 6-yard box. Centre of goal. Free header. Hit wood. You know who it was. I don't need to name him. Is there? Yeah. He's fucking shit. He's so shit. And he should score. Like, the goal he scored that was offside, he did score it. But it's impossible to miss every good chance. Like, he's going to score some of them. And Michael Jackson. It's becoming a pantomime, says MD. Jackson or Tony, says Elijah. Are you having a laugh? Ivan Toney's way better. Is it true that Klopp hit Salah in the dressing room? I've not heard anything about that, Scott. We're not going to start that rumour. Robert Lennon says, you're the only channel that mentions Jackson's poor form. I can't believe that. I mean, have you seen that miss? It's crap. If anything, the post saved him there because if it goes wide, it's even worse. I don't know what film to watch later. Spurs' biggest humiliation was conceding a Jackson hat-trick, says Robbo, but they had 9 men. I think Villa need the second goal here because Chelsea have been playing quite well. Max says Jackson's playing well tonight. I'd hate to see him when he's playing shit then. Watkins, good save. You see, it's on target with Watkins. That's the difference. Independence Day I've watched years ago. I'm all in, says Mark, I think Henry Winter was out of order on that interview, so you're not allowed to make funny comments like wheelie bin. That's not abuse. Give me a break. In Europe, players' cars are getting sent on fire, says I'm all in. Mate, look, I'm a big boy in more ways than one. And I'm joking about that. But look, I respect Henry Winter. I've called him out on Twitter before. I called him out in December because he was saying that Martial was one of the biggest problems at United. And I said, I tweeted him and I said, disappointed that such a respected journalist is singling Anthony Martial out, but is a massive PR merchant for certain English players. So, you know, I wouldn't say I haven't said things as well, but look, Henry's entitled to his opinion. The reason I got him on is because I'm bored of these twats on Twitter shouting about the United stand being toxic when it's not. And I just wanted to get somebody that was very pro Rashford to come on the show and give us that side of the story. Whether you deal with it or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's for you to get in the comments. Do you think the Chelsea striker curse is real? There is no way just about every striker for Chelsea can decline so hard, says Bart. I don't believe in curses in football. Do you still think Nunez... one curse to another. Mikel says, do you still think Nunez will come good for Liverpool? He seems to be missing a lot of chances. Look, all I can say about Darwin Nunez is people take the piss out of him. I'd take him at Man United tomorrow. And there's nobody that wants to take the piss out of a Liverpool signing more than me. But I do like Darwin Nunez. I've read that one. Thanks for the super chat to 208. I'm going to do an either or. Who's going to get sacked first, Poch or Ten Hag? I don't think either should get sacked, to be honest. But what do I like about Nunez? I like his work rate, which should come as standard. I like his strength. I think I've always said this about him, and I remember it when he was at Benfica. Knock him or not, it's a gift. His movement's brilliant. Like, he's a chance magnet. You could say the same about Jackson to a certain extent. He does get into the right places, and he's done it for 2 clubs. So he has got very good movement. His finishing is a problem. Like, I don't know whether that's confidence, mentality, or ability, and whether it can be ever solved. He's got to solve it. Like, he has to solve it. And if he doesn't solve it, then he's always going to be this player that's got a lot of good attributes, but ultimately can't finish chances. Look, he's missed a lot of chances. I've got access to something here. Not porn. And I will tell you about Premier League strikers and chances missed, because we're watching, obviously, Jackson. So I can bring you some stats this season on all the strikers and chances missed. But I would take him at Man United. I mean, let's not forget, Man United need a striker. I was saying it today. You can criticise Rasmus Højlund if you want to, but what I would say is that Rasmus Højlund has had to learn how to be a striker on the job. It's not work experience. He's like 21, just turned 21, and he's the only striker Man United have got. There's no one to learn from or anything like that. Right, let's set this as that. And I'm going to set some filters. So attacking, finishing, goal conversion, shots on target, goals, set filters, selection. So, no. I'm going to do this. General, matches. "2-0. I'll come back to that. Rodgers, he's cold. He's going like this. Was that a little bit of a dig at Cole Palmer? I don't know. Was that a little bit of a dig at Cole Palmer from Rodgers? He was like this after he scored. Ooh, it's cold. Well, it's certainly 2-0. Cold Rodgers. Bit of a piss take. I didn't see the goal because I was too busy trying to set this conversation up. But let's have a look. Leon Bailey, Cucurella. Again, getting in the way twice. Yeah, it's a good goal. That is a good goal. The way he uses the defender here. Goes through his legs, bottom corner. I mean, it looks really good when it works. Keeper's at full... I don't think the keeper's at fault, really. He's got done on his front post, but he's at full stretch. Emery's happy. He's so happy. And I think he'll be happy because Chelsea were starting to come back into the game a little bit. "I'm from Hungary and I made a deal with my boss that if we win the Euros, I get a week off with full pay. Go Hungary. You got no chance, Mozza." Good deal to make, but you should have gone bigger. I would have said, if Hungary win the Euros, I retire on full pay for the next 30 years. "If Lukaku kept quiet, he would be good for Chelsea," says Ewan. "Højlund or Nunez?" Well, I always go, I'm obviously going to stick with my United player, Addy. I'm not doing Nunez or Weghorst. Come on. Havard says, "What is your take that Liverpool are going to go from a manager training transfers to a training coach like Arteta?" says Havard. Well, we'll have to wait and see. I think Liverpool are going to be a very interesting team to watch next season because it could go like Ange, where it goes really well. Look at that. Look at the possession of Villa. 26%. Have you ever seen anything like it? 26% possession at home. That is amazing. That's Brentford do that. That's incredible. Don't forget, the Stats Carousel is sponsored by OneFootball. You can download it for free through the link in the description or scanning the QR code in the top right-hand corner. Download it on Apple and Android for free. Get all your latest football news and transfer news there. Fantastic OneFootball, but that's incredible. 26%. Would any Villa player make the United squad, says Tom. Would any Man United players make the Villa squad? Let's get real here. Why am I not getting this? Okay, so we're talking about shots, yeah? Hold on, Villa on the attack. Digne. I mean, Chelsea could still come back from 2-0 down. But Villa have done a very good tactical job on them here so far. So the player in the Premier League with the most shots this season is... Oh, Jackson's in. No foul. Is Mo Salah and Darwin Nunez. Apparently, they both had 100 shots this season. So Mo Salah and Darwin Nunez have had the most shots in the Premier League this season. 100 each. Goal conversion, Salah 17%, Nunez 11%. So basically, for every 10 shots, Nunez scores 1. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. Erling Haaland's had 93 shots this season, 21% goal conversion rate. So he scores 1 in 5. Jackson is 59 shots, 16% conversion rate. Which ain't that bad, actually, is it? Best goal conversion rates in the Premier League for players that have played over 19 matches this season. This is quite interesting, actually. So, guess which forward who has played more than 18 games in the Premier League this season. Guess who's got the best goal conversion rate? You'll never guess it. If I see somebody in the chat who gets this, I will give you a big applause. In fact, yeah, if you get it, well done. And let me just make sure I've got this right. We should do this more often. So the best goal conversion rate from a forward in the Premier League who's played more than 18 games this season. Well, a few people actually did get it. Navis, welcome. Thank you very much for that. Bert got it as well. If Villa get top 4, does Emery win best manager? He does for me, Beans, yeah. Harman got it as well. A few people said Isaac. Fair play if you did say him. He's third with 29.8% goal conversion rate from 57 shots, which is pretty incredible, really. He's scoring 3 out of every 10 shots he gets, which is incredible. But the best conversion rate comes from Chris Wood. He's got 37.5% goal conversion rate. He's only had 32 shots, but he's got a 37.5 conversion rate. I don't know why that is. Do you think that's because he's quite slow and most of his shots would be close to the 6-yard box? The type of striker he is might be something to do with that, but interesting. In second place, you'll never get the player in second place. So Chris Wood's got the best goal conversion rate in the Premier League. Isaac's in third. You'll never get the guy in second. You'll never get the guy in second. Somebody will, because there's enough people watching, but I'll be very impressed. Good guess there. Somebody had a good guess. Zach, you had a good guess. Not far off. It's not Hoyland. It's definitely not Jackson. I've got a winner. It's Avi X has got it. He plays for Luton, and his name is Adebayo. 36% goal conversion rate. So it's Wood, Adebayo, Isaac. Fourth place is Hwang Hee-chan. Fifth place is Mateta. I mean, it's amazing. The top 5 are not actually... Well, Isaac isn't either. The top 5 conversion rate strikers, and it's not a glitch. Like they've all, you've got to have played over 19 games in the Premier League, so it's not a glitch. In fairness to Adebayo, he's only had 25 shots. Now Nunez has had 100, so he's had maybe the less shots you have. I don't know, but then again, maybe it doesn't mean anything. You've got to be clinical. But the top 5 are all basically teams, apart from Isaac at Newcastle, who are mid to table to bottom of the table. So Wood, Forest, he's first. Adebayo, Luton, he's in the bottom 3. Isaac, obviously, is 7th with Newcastle. Hwang Hee-chan, mid-table. And then Mateta, Crystal Palace, around mid-table. Jota is 6th. Palmer is 7th. Rasmus Højlund is 8th. Duran at Villa is 9th. And Bowen is 10th. And that's good for Rasmus and Cole Palmer, isn't it? And Jota and Bowen, they're all in the top 10. I think goal conversion's a very interesting thing at this stage of the season. It's not Isaac, it's Isaac. He loved the singer Chris Isaac. Who's the worst? Hold on a minute. Villa are on the attack here. That's all right. It's gone. The worst is Beto at Everton. He's had 38 shots, 7.8% conversion rate. And that I'd agree with that. Jesus isn't very good. 50 shots, 8%. Broher at Fulham, 9%. To be fair, he's only had 11 shots. Calvert-Lewin's not very good either. 9% as well. Half-time here. Half-time. And it's 2-0 to the Villa. I mean, Chelsea, in fairness, talk to me, Goose. They've not been too bad. They've played okay. Bit unlucky with the offside. But look at that. 73%. I mean, this is why stats mean nothing compared to the eye test. Always follow the eye test. You know, I know a few scouts, right? Footballing scouts. And I'm very interested in football. Surprise, surprise. And over the years, I've spoken to these scouts, some of them down the pub. And one of the first conversations we always have is, it's your round. And then the second thing is, it definitely is your round. I bought the last round last time. And then I'll say, you know what? What do you think about AI and its ability to scout players and all these databases and Moneyball systems that clubs have? And they always say to me, and one of them works for a very high-profile Premier League club, they always say to me, nothing will ever beat the eye test. Because a computer can tell you about a player that, you know, has this goal conversion, doesn't get injured very often. But Chris Wood's just been thrown out there. You've got to go and watch him. Chris Wood is not a signing for Arsenal, is he? But he's got the best goal conversion rate in the Premier League this year. So the eye test is so important in football. And when you look at those stats, if you've not watched the game, what's your... If you hadn't been watching this game and I gave you that, what score do you think you'd go for? You're probably going to go draw or Chelsea leading 1-0. They've only had one shot on target, maybe 1-1. 2-0 to Villa. 72% possession for Chelsea. 8 shots to 5. 392 passes to 147. 91% pass accuracy. 2-0 to Villa. Neither team's had a corner either. That's incredible in itself. But Chelsea made more tackles as well. Stats don't mean fucking shit, basically. But what I would say is, as much as it's 2-0 to Villa, and I think that's the right scoreline, if you're Chelsea, you're probably looking at that game and feeling a little bit violated because you probably shouldn't be 2-0 down in a game like that. A striker you wish we could have had at United, past or present. Mine is Drogba, says Vin Barar. I'll go a little bit more recent and I'll say I would like to have seen Harry Kane at Manchester United 4 years ago. I'd like to have had Harry Kane at United for the last 4 years. And I think bringing Rasmus in the summer and having Harry Kane there would have been great for him. Emery showing he can do both high line and a low block, says Thiago. And Darren Snedden, welcome. Thank you very much for your super chat. Would you take Eze or Elise at United, says Rob. It would have to be Elise. Zach says, at United today, a Burnley fan was taken out for playing gestures. Good. Just the mind boggles at that sort of twattism. absolutely ridiculous. And I'd say the same if it was a Burnley fan at Anfield doing gestures about Hillsborough as well. I mean, the mind just boggles. Yeah, I just... look, Ron, that's football. I'm a United fan, but it's not just because it's United. Anybody who goes and mocks Hillsborough is a prick. It amazes me how these people get so carried away that they think doing... It's why we have world wars. It's why people kill each other. Because some people just don't have the capacity to deal with a situation without taking it to an extremity. Like, what part of a brain in a football match where it's rivalry starts doing a playing gesture to Man United fans or a Hillsborough gesture to Liverpool fans? And that is why we live in a world where people harm each other to extents where we have wars and stuff like that and murder. Because some people just can't help themselves taking it to the absolute shithouse level. It's disgusting. I just don't understand it. Look, I've done Instagram live streams pissed out my face. You lose all control. If you've ever been hungover, if you've ever been drunk, the shit you talk is unbelievable. Like, unbelievable. The amount of mornings I've woken up after a night out and I've gone, oh God, I've got to go to work on Monday. I did, didn't I? I grabbed the boss and said, let's have a dance to the Lambada. You're just like, oh my God, I've barely spoken to them in my whole fucking career and I've grabbed them and said, let's go and dance to the Lambada. It's like, you're like, what have I done? So yeah, I understand that drink can make you quite loose-lipped and do things that you wouldn't normally do. But never when I've been drunk have I gone up to somebody and, started doing gestures about things about dead family members or stuff like that. It's in these people is what I'm trying to say. It's in them to do it. And I'm not saying throw them on the scrap heap. Rehabilitation is very important. But they need education because they're damaging to society. What is UTV, says Jerry? Well, it's up the Villa and it's also the Irish version, the Northern Irish version of ITV, Ulster TV. And now on the UTV, Ken Barlow's bumming Audrey Barlow. I don't think that happened. Worst and best football shirts you've ever seen and the best you've ever owned, says Simon. Well, the best I've ever owned is my United blue away kit with the black paint splattering on it. I love that one. It's always been my favourite. Even though I don't think it suits me, I love it. My worst football kit. I'm really not a fan of the kits that look like the bottom of a swimming pool. I think Liverpool had an away kit like it last year. I just don't like them. What is your take on Arne Slot? Personally, I think he's a championship manager. You can't go from Feyenoord and make a big jump to Liverpool like he has done, says Daniel. I think Liverpool might have done their own work. But the interesting thing about... Liverpool going for Arne Slot is that if Ten Hag was still at Ajax, Liverpool would be appointing him. And nobody can argue with me about that. If Ten Hag was at Ajax doing what he'd done, then Liverpool clearly would be appointing him because Feyenoord and Slot is not really any different to what Ten Hag was doing. So it's interesting to me. I'm not saying I want Slot to do well, but I think they've done their homework because I think Liverpool do the homework. So I think it's going to be interesting. You're not going to get me sitting here saying Liverpool have made a mistake. I will watch it, as we do on That's Football, with interest, and it might not work out, but I'm not going to sit and say that it's going to be a failure. Start, bench, sell, curry, fish and chips and a roast dinner, says Dan. Well, I'm quite full from my tea, but I don't think... Look, if it's beef roast with carrots and peas and lovely roast potatoes and maybe just a little bit of creamed leeks and some lovely horseradish and a perfect Yorkshire pudding with gravy, I don't think much beats that. Worst, and I've done that one from Simon. Development club, if it's shit, by the way, it shows on the pitch. I don't know what you're talking about, AM. If Thomas Tuchel thought Bayern's midfield is bad, I wonder what he will think about United. I just can't understand his hype and why United fans are calling it. I don't want praise. I don't want praise, but I don't want Tuchel. Look, I want Man United to do well. So if we appoint him, there's no way I'm going to sit there going, get him out or anything like that. But I will be very clear, I do not want him as Man United manager. I don't particularly warm to him. I don't think he's particularly likeable. And the fact that he's won the Champions League with Chelsea, he's a Chelsea manager as far as I'm concerned. I don't feel like if he signs for Man United, it's exciting. It feels to me like a project manager again. It doesn't feel like a guy that I'm going to, in a footballing sense, fall in love with because he's got the best interests of my club at heart. He's not a Jurgen Klopp, is he? He's a journeyman. I don't warm to the idea at all, but who knows whether Ineos are going to be good or bad for Man United. Richard Bowyer says, advice on wanting to message that girl you always like, but too nervous to. P.S. Watched you since Mad Marcus Watchalong days. Big fan. Richard, fucking hell. That's a name I've not heard in a very long time. Bloody hell. It makes me remember how long I've been doing this. Mad Marcus, bloody hell. That is a long time ago. I wonder what he's up to now. I used to like his mum. She was about, I think she was in her 60s and she used to play computer games. Advice on, is it telling or messaging? Wanting to message that girl you always like. Don't message her, ring her. It's strong. And if you message someone, there's an easy way out for them. If you ring them, then you'll tell from their tone whether they like you or not. And I mean, literally, they might not pick up. I would just be very honest about it. I would say, look, I know we're friends. I presume you are. I know we're friends, but I've got to be honest. If I don't say this, then I'm happy to be friends. But if I don't say this, then I'm always going to wonder what. And I just think that as much as we're friends and I like that, I sort of feel that there might be something more there. And I would be really interested in exploring that. But the ball's in your court, because if you don't feel that way, then obviously I've misread it. Back of the net. We'll go into Nando's. I mean, obviously the ball's in their court then. I'm a firm believer in life. Whack the ball back into their court. Don't own it for too long. It's like that game, isn't it? You know, where you're holding on to the bomb. Throw it away. I'm not saying throw a bomb, but you know what I mean. Can see orange stains on your mouth, mate. Don't think you can, but if you can, just deal with it, Bailey. It's a live stream. Hot potato, that's what I meant to say. Agony on Bridges back, says Jamie. Yeah, get your questions in. Love it. Love it. What do you think of half and half scarves? I've never understood them, says Gold Edition. I don't like half and half scarves. I don't like them. But I understand their origins in the sense that I think the origins of the half and half scarf is for the football fan that maybe is going to that game for the first time, or they don't go very often. So if they were at Villa Chelsea tonight and there's a half and half scarf, you'd buy the scarf as a item to remember that game. That's the only logic I can think, because why else? Do you know who owns the Daily Star and Mirror in my country? I do. So much fun, says Parker. Well, tell us then. What are the worst Big Six teams in Premier League history? Says McAdam. I don't know what that means. And when it's shit at the top, it filters down to the pitch, says AM. And Bailey says, I'm only joking. Me and my brother love you. Thanks, mate. Are you going to go to the playoff final, says Josh? Oh, I'm bloody tempted now, you know. I am tempted. That's a massive game for Solihull Moors. I'm really tempted to go to that. I'm just trying to think when it is. And whether it clashes with... they've got the FA Trophy final. And it's next weekend, isn't it? Is it next weekend? Umar says, "Why did you not go to any Man United games, mate? I've probably been to more Man United games than you've had hot dinners. I just don't go since I've been doing the United stand because it's sort of my job. Like if I don't, I've been doing watch-alongs for years. If I don't do them, then you know, well, what happens? So that's just a decision I've made. It literally amazes me how this is such an issue for everybody else, and yet I'm comfortable with it. And I get asked it about 50 times a day. And I don't understand why it's such a problem for everybody else and it's not mine. You know, there's a guy across the road who I know who goes to work at 9 o'clock but doesn't get up till 8:20. And whilst that's a bit strange to me, I don't knock on his door every day and say, why don't you get up till 8:20? Surely you should get up at 7:30 and have a shower. Like, judge the who not be judged or whatever that bullshit is. When is this National League final? Because if it's next weekend, I might go. I might go. Right, second half's about to start. Because United are not playing until Monday. Right, second half's about to start. Different goalkeeper for Villa. Chelsea, sorry. Wow. Well, what Chelsea can't afford to happen here is they can't afford to get battered. I'll tell you what I find amazing. This game kicked off at 8 o'clock. It's 9:10 and we're starting the second half. That means that the first half kicked off at 8 o'clock and should have finished at around 9:15. 25 minutes after that, we're starting the second half. That's what VAR and PGMOL are doing to these games. They're turning 2-hour games into 2-hour, 20-minute games. No, the keeper is Villa's. Sorry, I didn't see the badge. Might be way back in for Chelsea. Can there be friendship between men and women, says the individual. Oh, I've done this before when we were a little bit smaller. It works on a Saturday night. This is just my opinion. I feel I have to do a little bit of, what do they call it? You know, a little bit of a statement that this does not represent, you know, everybody. It just represents me. It's not an opinion of That's Football. It's an opinion of Mark Goldbridge, the individual. Can there be friendship between men and women? Depends on the... I don't think... I'm trying to think how to words this. I don't think that, in my experience, they can. Let's put it this way. If Mrs. Goldbridge said to me, I'm off down the pub with Steve from work for a few drinks tomorrow night, is that okay? I would say, does Steve from work like women or is he gay? And if she said to me, he likes women, I'd say, he wants to sleep with you. That might be ridiculously naive and whatever you want to call it, but I'm just telling you my opinion. I can't speak for women, I'm not one. But as a man, I wouldn't trust a man to just be friends with a woman. Thanks for the gifted membership, Hessen. I don't have any friends that are just that are women. I have friends I have women who are friends who are like partners of my friends who are males, but I don't have any women that are just friends. Could be a generational thing. Yeah, take that on board. Well, you have friends with benefits now, don't you? I think it's like with your friends now, if you're friends with benefits, you can take your washing round and they'll do the washing for you, or they'll take the kids to school. I don't really know how friends with benefits works, but Mark, did you see Anthony Taylor's mistake? We've spoken about it, Jurgen Klopp. Apparently, the PGMOL have come out and said he made the right choice. Oh, Douglas Luiz having a bit of a 1-2 there with Casido. Booked them both. If Tom Edwards says, if somebody asks me that, I reply, how many friends like that do you have? Well, obviously, it's impossible for me to be friends with women. I mean, look at me. Even if I wanted to be friends with them, it's not fair on them. You know, the temptation is going to be too much. So I just refuse to do it for their sanity. I'll say, look, let's not become friends because it's just going to get really difficult for you because I'm married. I'm not interested. And whilst I'll be your friend and we can talk about football, you're just going to be thinking about other things, and I can't be dealing with that. I'm All In says, people asking you why you don't go to a game is not a problem for them. They are trolls. You shouldn't read it out. Yeah, I shouldn't really. Good point. Thanks for the gifted membership, Hessen. Whoever got it. Well done. Jay says, Chelsea have just not got that good, are they? I really do and have and will continue to say this about Chelsea, that when I don't think they should have sacked Potter. Now, I'm not saying I wouldn't want Potter anywhere near Man United, but I don't think they should have sacked Potter because when you looked at the stats under Potter, they had a lot of possession and they had a lot of shots. They couldn't score and they'd lose a game 1-0, and it happened a lot. They were shit under Lampard, and then under Poch, the same thing has happened again. So I'm not a Chelsea fan, but I've sort of done a little bit of work on them over the last 18 months. And whilst it's not always been the case, there is a constant where Chelsea defend reasonably well, create lots of chances, have good possession, but don't win games. And I think the solution to that is a striker who can score goals. I genuinely think if Chelsea had an Erling Haaland up front or an Ollie Watkins up front, they'd be in a lot better position. I don't think Chelsea's problem to solve is that big. They're not going to win the league with that, but where they are at the moment in like mid-table or wherever, they've been mid-table for most of the season. I know they're doing a bit better now, but for me, it's just about buying a bloody striker, which is incredible because you'd almost be like, if they had the money, well, they've spent £1 billion. Jackson or a mannequin, says Hessen. Who are the worst owners? Chelsea. Lake are the worst owners. Chelsea are EPL Dortmund, says AM. Alex Turner says he's having toothpaste for dinner. Chelsea get one back. This game's not over. Certainly wouldn't be switching it off yet. North London Derby prediction, says Turd. Well, I think look, I'm looking forward to the North London Derby tomorrow because both teams need to win. I don't think a draw doesn't help either of them, apart from they can say we didn't lose. And of course, you're going to take a draw over a loss in a game like that. But both teams need a win. Who do I think's going to win? Ask me after the first 10 minutes. Because it's a derby, look, I would have predicted Liverpool would win that Goodison game last week, every day of the week. And then first 10 minutes you go, I think Everton are going to get something. And that's only because it's a derby. So I think first 10 minutes will be key. Spurs played very well. So greedy from Madueke there. And that's a problem, isn't it? That individualism in a top tier team is a concern. Because he does well. This is why he's a good player. He skips past Digne, and all he wants to do is shoot. And there's probably a better pass on there. But yeah, I think the first 10 minutes will tell us the story tomorrow. My gut feeling is that Arsenal win. It'd be a very impressive win if they do, though. What record would Pep have with this Man United team, says Gary? Nothing. No, Pep Guardiola can't win the league with this United team, if that's what you're saying. He can't polish a turd. How about Mudryk or Anthony? Let's do it. Oh, forgot about this poll from the first half. Who gets sacked first? 56% say Poch over Ten Hag. So quite close, but Poch there. Either or, Mudryk or Anthony. Anthony played quite well today. Anthony got man of the match on our United Stand player ratings poll. I mean, Mudryk, what has he done? What has he done? And he's one of those players that I didn't really know a lot about Mudryk, if I'm being honest. I know hipsters will say, I've watched him 100 times and I've been for dinner with him, but I didn't know much about Mudryk. But I assumed he was a good player based on the fact that Arsenal wanted him and Chelsea stole him. But from what I've seen, it's just pace. Aston Villa's game plan today has been very good. Who do you think is going to finish higher, Chelsea or United? Well, I still think even with all their injuries, Chelsea have got a better team than United. Injury hit or not, they've got better players. So I'd still say that Chelsea could catch United. I mean, look, this game's not over yet, but if they lose this game, they've only got a game in hand on United, and they're 7 points behind them with 5 games to go. So that's quite significant. They've got Spurs at home on Thursday. If they were to win that, they'd be 4 points behind United with 4 games to go. And their run-in is West Ham at home, Forest away, Brighton away, Bournemouth at home. Look, no Chelsea fan is going to say that they're going to win the last 4, but let's say they win their last 5. I know that sounds stupid, but let's say they win their last 5 and they lose tonight. That puts them on 62 points, which would mean United need to win 3 of their last 4, which they're not going to do. So if Chelsea can win their last 5, they'll finish above United. United have got 54 points and a crap goal difference, and our next 4 games are Palace away, which I don't fancy us. Arsenal at home, I don't fancy us. Newcastle, I think we have to win, but will be difficult. And then Brighton away. Man United might only take 4 points from their last 4 games, to be honest. We've got a tough run in. So if we took 4 points from our last 8, 4 points from our last 12, let's be honest, that gives us 58 points, and I think that's our worst ever Premier League total. And I think Newcastle will get 6th because their run-in's quite good. They've got Burnley away, Brighton at home, Man United away, and Brentford away. I can see Newcastle picking up some points. And as I said in the first half, from what I've seen, Newcastle are the 6th best team in the league. Bitcoin or Ethereum. I didn't know people still did that, Smith. %59% have gone with Anthony. What's happened to Reece James? For me, right, Reece James was England's best right back, but I think you've got to sit there and go, injury-wise, is he ever going to play football consistently again? I mean, how old is he? He's 24. I'll tell you what, it's sad to say stuff like this, but I'll be very surprised if Reece James plays consistent football for the rest of his career. I just don't. I think the amount of injuries he's had in his early 20s, I can't see it's just going to suddenly be okay. I think he's going to be one of those Phil Jones types who is just going to consistently break down. I agree with Gino. I think he could have been a Real Madrid player. I think, as I say, as a right back, there was a time where I felt he was England's best right back because I think he had the defensive ability and the ability to go forward. But HXK says Reece James or Arnold. It's been so long since we've seen Reece James playing that, yeah, I just don't think it's even a conversation anymore that's worth having. But it happens, it happens. Everybody's different. And some players that are good will have their careers destroyed by injury. It will happen. There will be another one. It's sad. Lee Berman says, maybe Chelsea need an overhaul at the top like United are doing. Bowley's heart is in the right place, just needs better advice. 100% Lee. The money they've spent, they should be doing better than they are. How do you become a member? I can't see it, says Connor. Should be a join button somewhere. I'll get it. I'll whack it in the live chat for you. Still half an hour to go in this game. Still 2-0 to Aston Villa. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. We're only 40 away from 145,000. Get involved with That's Football. You're very, very welcome. Thanks everyone who's getting involved with the podcast as well. Goldbridge Saves Football. We have put the full video up for you now as well on this channel, but you can listen to it on Spotify if you're somebody who wants to do that. Let me copy that. There we go. Right, I've pinned that for you. The link for the members club if you want to get your badge in the chat and support the channel. You're very welcome. Thank you very much. I'm going to close the poll on Anthony and Mudryk as well. 58% went for Anthony, 42% went for Mudryk. If you've got any other either or suggestions, let me know. Guy says, buy Oldham. It's for sale. Horrible place. Paul Scholes should buy Oldham. I wouldn't be opposed to helping Oldham out, but it's bloody miles away. I don't get to this. I don't get to the Manchester studio enough as it is without buying a club up there. So, why doesn't Paul Scholes buy it? I'm sure he used to manage it. Angel says, Ultras. Here's a good one from Martin. It's an either or. I think Chelsea are going to score in a minute, you know. Isak or Watkins. Very good one, this. Very good one. And you can do it based on who you think's better, who you'd like playing for your club. Connor Jackson, welcome to the members club. Do you remember the canal walks to work? I was trying to find them the other day. I can't remember. I can't find them on the channel. Conor Gallagher. Goal. I should bloody have something. I said seconds ago that Chelsea are going to score, and they have. I think they might get back into this game. 2-1. Villa have been crap second half. Mudryk scores. Douglas Luiz getting caught in possession. That's what led to the goal. And it's 2-1 here. And Villa have been poor second half. And they're not going to be able to see this game out. Are Chelsea selling Conor Gallagher? They'd be mad to. Flores official, welcome to the members club. Great stuff. The individual says, hold on, Chelsea could be scoring again here. I was given a free kick as well, right on the edge of the box. Cole Palmer. Yeah, it was a foul, to be fair. The individual says, girl dumped me in October, texts me every 2 weeks for no reason. Recently said she won't find a man like me, but we're too different. How to get her back? Look, she's texting you every fucking 2 weeks. She said she won't find a man like you. Just say, let's get back together. It's easy. But if you're too different, I wouldn't be getting back with her anyway. Yeah, Mitt says you've already got her, bro. You've got her on a string if you want her, but it doesn't sound like it's right. I wouldn't do it. Cole Palmer on the free kick. I tell you what, it'll be embarrassing for Cole Rogers if Cole Palmer scores. He'll have the last laugh. Who did I say scored? I thought I said Madueke scored. It was Madueke who scored. I don't know who I said then. Shoots wide. Individual. Ask out her best friend, says Tom Edwards. Is he trying to get her back in the sense of trying to wind her up? I see, it's so easy these days, isn't it? Jurgen Klopp says, rate fizzy water. I do like fizzy water, but I do find it a bit gassy, funnily enough. Yeah, Chelsea have really got this game at the moment. It's wave after wave. He's got to sort this out, Emery. It's like they're playing with 10 men. What is this ref doing here? Oh, fuck it. You know what? This really annoys me because there's nothing wrong with Casido. Basically now, if you're a footballer, just go down rolling and they'll go back and give a foul and give you a yellow card. I don't think Liam Bailey even did anything here. I'd like to see... I'll reserve judgment until I see in the replay, but he played on. The referee played on until he saw Casido going down. No, it was a foul. It was a yellow card. But I don't know why the referee didn't say it was a yellow card straight away. The Chelsea comeback is on, says MD. Guy says, what's your opinion on hashtag United? I could see them in League 2. I'd love to see that. I think they've done a great job there. I mean, I don't know how far they are away from the National League, but I think if they got in the National League, things would get interesting. Mally says, how to ask a girl out you've been talking to? Well, if you're talking, you're talking. Just ask her. Don't be scared. Well, hashtag a 13th in the non-league Premier. So they're probably about 2 or 3 away from... Non-league Premier is where the hashtag are. What did I say they're in? Non-league Premier. I don't know. I think they're 1 or 2 off the National League. Either or, Odegaard or Rice, says Tom. Really? Isak has beaten Watkins 59% to 41%. I mean, look, I'm not going to say you're wrong. I think they're both very good players. Who would I take at United? Look, I'd be happy to have another striker at the moment. Who would I want out of Watkins and Isak? I think in the United system it would be Watkins, because I think you've got to do a lot of work as a United striker physically. So I think I would go Watkins. That doesn't mean Isak's not the better player. I think if it was at Arsenal, you'd probably go Isak. Leicester City got promoted. What do you think about that? Says William. Well, I'm not surprised. I think Casido's trying to get people sent off here. I don't think that's a second yellow card at all. And it's not. Good interview with Henry Winter, but my frustration is it's okay for Souness to sit on national TV and call Pogba all sorts. English bias, says Kate. Well, it is a good interview because it's got you thinking. Exactly. Check it out on the United Stand. Leicester City got promoted. What do you think about that? Yeah, not surprised. The way this game's going with 20 minutes, I can only see Chelsea getting back into this. And that'll be... Spurs fans would be very happy with that, especially when they've got to play Chelsea on Thursday. Katie says, love your channel. I'm a huge Liverpool fan, but love this channel. Got me through some difficult times. This community is amazing for a girl who... thank you very much for that. Vardy's back with Leicester, unfortunately, says Paula. Can you remember that Vardy run in the Premier League when he broke the record for scoring in consecutive games? Fastest play you've ever seen at United, Oscar? I mean, Ronaldo was very, very fast when he was at United. He was very, very fast. Dan James was probably fast. I'm trying to think older players. Kanchelskis was fast. Villa just can't get hold of the ball here. Casido. Lovely ball. If they score from this, good keeping. They just can't. They can't keep hold of the ball at the moment, Villa. Valencia was fast, yeah. Either or, Van Basten or Van Nistelrooy. You're having a laugh, Ian. Van Basten's probably one of the best strikers I've ever seen. Night Sketch says, is it bad to make my missus make me tea while I play PlayStation? Not if she's not if she wants to. But if you're forcing her to do it, that sounds very bad. Please do subscribe. We're only 10 subscribers away from 145,000. Thank you very much for that. Villa just struggling at the moment to get any foothold on the game. Chelsea's press has been very impressive. But now they play through the press. Into Bailey. Gets the shot off. Oh. Goes for a corner. That's what Villa need to do more of. Play through the press and hit on the break. Who do you think is the smallest club in England's top 4 divisions? I think it's Morecambe, says the 6 foot. I don't know. I'll take your word from it. Giggs was very fast when he was before his hamstring problems. Yes, Kevin, he was, and Nick. Corner to Villa then. Only the 3rd corner of the game. Lots of yellow cards in it. No, not a very good corner. Worst player I've ever seen at Man United. I thought that Prunier was shit. I think it was a centre-back. The goalkeeper we brought in from Italy, which I always say, Tbilisi, was it? That might be the capital of Georgia, actually. Beppe was pretty crap as well. I thought Kleberson was shit as well. Jemba wasn't much better. Recent times. I mean, to be honest with you, Falcao was pretty crap. Brilliant striker before the injury, but he wasn't very good for us. Yeah, we've had a few. But every club has. Steve Coppell was fast before my time, Tom. Before my time. Who would you say is the Premier League's worst striker, says Marcus? Beto at Everton. We've already proven it. I would have said him anyway. But, yeah. I think from what I've seen this season, Beto, this season, is the worst striker in the Premier League. He just can't stay on side. Have I ever been to Peterborough, says Meth? I've never been to Peterborough, and it's one of my biggest regrets, because I had a trial with Peterborough United, and I just talked myself out of it. I woke up on the Saturday morning, and I had to get a train there, because no one could take me, and I didn't really want to. I'm an idiot, 15-year-old idiot. I just didn't want to do it, so I woke up in the morning and sort of convinced myself I had a headache, so I didn't go. It's a sort of opportunity that you shouldn't miss in life, really. Sewage Fruit, lovely name, says, I've just finished the player ratings. When you said this officiating is coming to a club near you, it's spot on. I've been saying it all season. 100%. Robbo96 says, if Winter thinks calling a player as a wheelie bin is abuse, he should see all the death threats on you, and Rashford should look to your reactions as inspiration rather than not improving on the pitch. I appreciate the super chat, mate, and I appreciate the comment. And the reason we did that interview with Henry is because he's a very respected journalist. He's very, very pro Marcus Rashford. And in the absence of anybody from Rashford's team actually giving us anything substantial other than childish tweets that are just not going to help anybody, I thought Henry gave a very good assessment of the other side, which is what we wanted to do. And then it, generates the conversation. I found it very interesting. Check it out on our channel. I don't know. Oh, it's over there. Leave it. Hussein says, do you ever get tired of football? I don't get tired of that's football because I choose the games I want to watch. And unless it's like Man City the other night where I'm like, I've got better things to do. I get tired of Man United sometimes. It's a hard watch. And it has been for the last few years at times. But it's my club. I can't turn it off after 20 minutes. The thing I find difficult at the moment, and I found it today on the Watchalong, was that there's people there that I know their names in the chat, and I don't know whether they've realised that I don't think they're actually supporting the team anymore. I think they're supporting the dream. I don't think they take pleasure in United winning games or even really want us to win games. And I think what they're telling themselves is, well, I do. I just want to see us do well. But that's not what supporting your team's all about. Very few football teams get to enjoy success all the time. We had success for a long time, but a lot of clubs don't have success. Look at Spurs. They don't win anything, but they still got thousands of fans turning up. And I think it's becoming more and more prevalent in the United fan base that I don't really understand what the motivation is. I understand that you might not like a player or you might not like a manager, but you're not enjoying when we do win games at the moment. And I don't understand how you can turn it on and off on what game you enjoy to win and what you don't. Oh, I'll enjoy it when we get a proper manager. Well, so you don't enjoy it when we win with this manager? No, because I don't like the manager. Fine. But you don't enjoy Man United winning? No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't enjoy it when we win with this manager. But that's not support then, is it? That's supporting in a set of circumstances where if everything is going right for you, you'll enjoy the win and support the team. But if it's not, you won't. And look, I wanted Mourinho sacked at the end. I wanted Ollie sacked at the end. But there was never a game I wanted to lose. I didn't want us to lose to Watford. Definitely didn't. Ollie's last game at Watford, I didn't want us to get battered. And Mourinho's last game at Anfield, I definitely didn't want us to lose. So I don't know. Chelsea are in. Oh, Terrors is across. Time is ticking down here. I don't think they're fake fans. I just think they've lost. I think they support the team. But I think they've lost sight of what supporting a team is. It's not always a bed of roses. I'm not saying you need to celebrate it like when we won in the new camp. But when United win, ultimately, that should make your weekend better. Like, I'd rather we beat Burnley today than that horrific draw because of shit officiating. I'd be in a better mood tonight if United had won. But I was brought up on that. United weren't very good when I was young. They weren't. So you take a win. And I think some people just haven't experienced the bad times, which is weird because we've had bad times for 10 years. Look, I'm sure there's a lot of Chelsea fans that want Pochettino to get sacked. But you're telling me they're sat at home going, I hope we don't equalise in the next 10 minutes. That's just weird. Maybe it's a new thing. I don't know, but it's a weird thing. Surely as a Chelsea fan, you're just hoping you can get an equaliser here. I had my Indian, yes, Ollie. It was very nice. Bryn, welcome to the Members Club. You're a legend. How is cooking of Jinx chewing gum from your basement? You're going to be wealthy. Please share it with our community, says Havard Edge. What the fuck are you talking about? What a goal. There it is. It's been coming. Conor Gallagher. Totally deserved from Chelsea. They've deserved it. And it's a good goal. Conor Gallagher again. What's going on with Villa? Well, what's going on with Villa is that this has been coming all second half, and it's a great goal by Conor Gallagher. And I don't know for the life, on his left foot as well, I don't know for the life of me why they're looking to get rid of him. The only reason is he's a homegrown player and you can get money for it. Closing down is terrible there from Villa as well. He's got time to switch it onto his left foot. At this level, you can't give a player, any player, time on the edge of the box to switch it onto their left foot. Most disturbing movie scene you've ever seen, says Tristan. I can't stand that bit in Saving Private Ryan where he puts the knife in him. I can't watch it. And it's a very good film, but I can't watch it. Good result for Spurs. Last day off, says Robster. My last full day off was Christmas Day. I didn't do anything on Christmas Day work related. Watkins top of goals and assists at the moment. It's recency biased, putting in Isaac, says Thimbo. Morpay at Brentford is the worst striker at the moment, says Cole. What do you think of Salah and Klopp arguing on the sideline, says Reverse Clouds. We've spoken about it before. I don't really understand what it's all about, really. Bingus says, do you think if this game ends as a win for Villa, Spurs might have a chance of top 4 given their remaining matches, or do you think it's out of reach? Even if Villa win this, which I don't think they will, they'd be 9 points ahead of Spurs, but Spurs have got 3 games in hand, so Spurs can still do it. I think it's very difficult to make up 9 points when you know you've got to win your 3 games in hand. So if this finishes if this finishes with a draw, it gives Spurs a bit of hope. But Spurs have got to probably take... I mean, they've got Arsenal tomorrow, Chelsea away on Thursday, and then Liverpool away on Saturday. So they've probably got to take 7 points from those 3 games to have a chance, even if Villa lose this. It's because Martinez went off, says Sonny. It can be a problem. Zero says, if you say someone's half decent, would you say they're above or below average? If they're half decent, the way I say half decent, I'd say they're above average, yeah. Have Spurs got more fans than City, says Stefan? I don't know, mate. City's fan base, traditionally, I would say Spurs have got more fans, but they have got a lot of worldwide fans now. Chelsea are going to win this, I think. Any advice for dealing with tough times, says Alex? Look, it's difficult because I don't know. Everything's difficult. I mean, you know, have you lost your job? It could be grief or whatever like that. I think advice is always a good way to start, and you've got to take a beat as well. You've got to, like, I think some people chase, you know, as I say, with grief, you've got to grieve. You know, when something bad happens, you've got to grieve it. Like, you can't just go, people sometimes get obsessed with getting past it, but you have to go through the process. And I think sometimes if you lose your job, you can't just have a stiff upper lip. You've got to work through that disappointment and look at how you're going to come back from it. If that makes sense, which it might not. But my point is, I think you've got to take the time to deal with the thing that is giving you the tough times. Otherwise, you end up bottling it up, and that can take a lot longer. Villa have been so bad this half. He's got to pass it. Matty Cash has got to pass that. There's definitely a winner in this. Corner to Chelsea. Hi Mark, as an Arsenal fan, I can sympathise with the frustration of negative fans. Forget Arteta, I remember when fans were hoping we lost games under Emery. Mad considering the issues we had. I think it's a slip. Jamie, I don't think it's unique to United. I agree with you, it probably happened at Arsenal. You know, when you're printing T-shirts with Arteta out on, don't tell me you're going to the game hoping they're going to win. It doesn't make sense, does it? But I think it's always a slippery slope to get to a point where you lose sight of going into every game wanting to win. And I think it is a bit of a modern phenomenon, because I go back to before social media, and United didn't used to win every week, and it just be disappointing. Whereas now, I think it just gets revved up into something that it doesn't need to be. There's no patience in football now. The demand is always high, isn't it? I mean, Liverpool are in a crisis now because they're not going to win the league, despite the fact that they've overachieved. So I just think it's sad when you lose. I remember Man United against Brentford back in the autumn. We played shit. Brentford were winning going into stoppage time at Old Trafford. We scored 2 late goals and we won it. And I was absolutely over the moon. And I did the match reaction, and people were like, it's embarrassing you're celebrating that. It's embarrassing that we had to win it late against Brentford. And I was like, hold on a minute. It's embarrassing to celebrate the team I support winning a game of football. I don't get it. I don't get it. First and foremost, I just want to win. I don't care how we do it. I want to win. I'd rather win and moan about the way we played and work on it than lose and not. Oh, that was the chance. Ollie Watkins, cut back. Over the bar. Paul says, this is your best channel because you can speak the truth. No, I speak the truth on the United stand, but it's just too political. Like, people have got too strong an opinion on it. Like, there's Player FC on there. There's manager in and out on there. There's tribalism on where you're from as a fan on there. It's just a harder place to have proper conversations because there's so much quite rightly real tribalism passion, whereas on here I think you can be more pragmatic. Will Aston Villa do a Newcastle next season, says Distressed Wrangler Jeans. Isaac scores that, says half the chat. I think Villa will do a Newcastle next season if they have injury problems and they don't strengthen their squad. Hi, Mark. I've done that one from Jamie Wilkes with the Arsenal chat. Thank you very much. I'm just going to have to mute this for a minute. It's a good job I did, because if I hadn't, that would be on TikTok. I've definitely eaten something that the body is saying you don't normally eat this. I'm trying to think what it could be anything. God, there were so many different things on that Indian takeaway tonight. I had cauliflowers, mushroom, onions, lots of different, yeah. I tell you what, the best detective series in the world couldn't solve what's caused my win tonight. I'm looking forward to Spurs Arsenal tomorrow night. Tomorrow afternoon. Don't say tomorrow night. 2 o'clock. We're going to be live at about 1:30. Please do subscribe to the channel. Bottom right-hand corner. Disarcy's on the pitch. We're only 10 subscribers away from 145,000, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Appreciate that. There's still time here for a winner. I mean, Villa could have won it there. Not that they deserve it in the second half, but it was a good cutback to Watkins. We're about to hit the 90th minute, but I think he's going to add on at least 9, 7. Should have been more. I think there should have been more than 7. I've played the game. I don't think there was more than that, ref. What the fuck is that? Why is that on that then? I don't know. That is weird. That's wrong. No, I'll do it. Come on, Hull City, says Luke. Thanks for the super chat, Luke. You feel that Chelsea are going to get a big chance to win this? Do you agree with Roy Keane's views about footballers doing podcasts? I personally think it can detract from their focus, e.g. Michael Antonio. I don't know what he said, mate. I know Michael Antonio called Roy Keane a dinosaur, but I can only be consistent. I was asked about this on the fill-in with Ben Foster a couple of months ago. I watched Silence of the Lambs recently, Adore. I've seen it before. I think it's easy for a retired footballer or someone like myself or you to talk about footballers because we're not playing against them and we're not in the dressing room with them. I think when you're a current serving player, to be... Look, let's take Mikel Antonio. It's up to him what he does. great. We live in a world where you can do what you like, in the sense you can have a podcast if you're a serving footballer. But I think the problem with it is that you're still playing at a very competitive level. And if you start slagging off Nicholas Jackson and then West Ham play Chelsea and he's motivated by that and they score a hat-trick, you just look a bit of a prat, don't you? I'd wait till I've retired, really. I think it's easier. And also, you're never going to be truthful about your teammates, are you? He's not going to say, I think Jared Bowen's overrated, because he's playing with him. Do you think... I don't know what that is, the individual. I don't know what it is, so I'm not going to say it in case it's offensive. Keep up the good work, Mark, says Daily Hibbert. Hope you're doing well, mate. Thank you very much for your super chat. Appreciate that. Do you think Timo Werner's better than Jackson, says Jay? Yeah, I think the thing about Timo Werner is he might miss chances, but he's actually got more to his game that he can bring if he does. And I don't really see Timo as a striker anyway. Oh my God. What the bloody hell are Chelsea... you know what? What a save by the keeper, because I don't know what that fucking defender's doing there. He's nearly gifted Chelsea a goal. He can nod it back to his goalkeeper and he blindly passes it to a Chelsea player who is Cole Palmer, who skins him, goes through one-on-one, and the keeper makes a great save. Got no idea what that Villa defender's doing there. He's had a Casemiro moment. They should have won it, Chelsea, there. And you'd expect them to win it. I tell you what, if Cole Palmer had won it there, that Villa player is going to look a right twat. And Rodgers. That was a big chance for Chelsea. And they've got it. They've got it. Disarcy. I thought there was a foul. I thought there was a foul in the build-up, but I don't think he's going to give it. I thought there was a blatant shoulder barge in the build-up, and I'd be very interested to see if there's any complaints from Villa. I thought the referee was going to blow for it. That was my first thought, but I don't think Villa are complaining. "94 minutes from 2-0 down. Chelsea are going to win it." Well, it's obviously not a foul. Some people are saying it'll definitely a foul. I saw somebody... Yeah, that's a foul. That's a blatant foul. That can't be a goal. Can't be a goal, that. That's got to be a foul. He's literally just shoulder barged him in the back. Yeah, you've got to give a foul on that. Look, nothing against Chelsea. I think they deserve to win it. But you go with what you see on the pitch, and I was like, well, that's a foul, before the goal even went in. Yeah, he's gone VAR. It'll be a foul. It will be a foul. Let's not get stressed. It's going to be a foul. VAR's done its job at last. Now, if he looks at this and doesn't see a foul, yeah, that's a foul. And he puts the cross in as well. I didn't realise that. Yeah. Imagine if he said, that's a goal. He's the guy who puts the cross in as well. It's Badashil, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Foul. He's giving it. Good decision. That's where it can work. It was right. It was game's gone soft. Says, look, it's not. Look, if that's Man United, I'm furious. We've won the game at the end. I'm celebrating. Poch is saying it's a joke. It's not. It is a foul. But I do understand Chelsea's frustration, simply because you've had the joy taken away from you. I don't know what Poch is talking about, mate. Come on. I think that's just passion. Bit unlucky for Chelsea, though, because I think on the second half, to come back from 2-0 down, and they weren't bad in the first half. Oh, my God. I think Villa have been so shit. So many unforced errors. Corner for Villa, though. A lot of people saying it's soft. Let's run a poll. Look, I've said my piece. You have yours. Foul or not? Was it a foul or not? Yes or no? Simple answer. Gabriel pushing the back just as bad as Connor. Well, you're right. Comment of the evening, Connor. Absolutely spot on. But I always said that it was a foul on Gabriel. So, you're right. Very, 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 very consistent comment. Well done. Brilliant comment from Connor. Exactly. It's the same as Gabriel against Newcastle and they didn't give a foul. So, if you want consistency, you're right. But for me, it's a foul. Bloody hell, Villa have just headed one over the bar from that corner. Duran. I'd say, well, that would be a very good header to score from there. It's close in the chat. Might have a few Spurs fans who want a Villa win voting as well. There's still time anyway. I mean, Villa have been pushing for a winner here. Oh no, he's blown. And it finishes 2-2. What's Badashiel doing here? Madueke as well. Fucking hell. Grow the fuck up, lads. Go back into the dressing room, have a look at the VAR, and you'll see it was a foul. Just chill out. You're all getting fucking booked for no reason. You're going to get a fine. I don't know, I just weird there. Well done, Chelsea. Played really well second half. Looking forward to that Spurs game on Thursday. I think you might beat them. They played very well, Chelsea. I think in recent weeks they've been playing a lot better. Still need a striker. Aston Villa, you got to get over the line. You got to get over the line. There's still difficult games. They've got Liverpool at home. Spurs over to you tomorrow. Looking forward to it. North London derby. Thanks everyone for watching. Really enjoyed the show tonight. Hardcore. Well done. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow for the North London derby. Take care. Have a good evening. I'm going to go and watch a film. And forget about football, especially United. There'll be no match of the day for me today. But I'll watch match of the day with you tomorrow, which is going to be Spurs against Arsenal. Can't wait. North London and derby. See you tomorrow. Take care.